Hello, 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 and welcome back to my series on managing your Gmail. It's evening time, different day, and welcome aboard. So, today we are going to, as promised, this is video 1, which is going to show you how to create categories and labels, and basically kind of give you essentially boxes to put all of the stuff that you have in. So that you can essentially, again, one of our goals is to empty out our inbox and use it only for incoming information. Why is that important? Well, I'm going to explain. So, the word inbox. A lot of your parents are probably familiar with the word inbox even before the use of email. An inbox in the business world or in the professional world is literally a box. It looks like this. This is my girlfriend's inbox. Now, don't be scared. Don't be frightened. This is my inbox. So, basically, as we go through our days and as we go through our weeks, we accumulate stuff, information typically. These inboxes are physical boxes where I put the stuff so that it doesn't end up on my coffee table. It doesn't end up on my record player. It's not scattered around in the kitchen. It just has a place. And I know that at some point, I'm going to have to go through and sort this thing out. And as you can see, it's not just papers in there. For some reason, there's even a hanger in there. So I don't know how that got in there. Maybe I should just throw that away. But basically, an inbox in the physical world is literally a box where I put all of my bills, all of my receipts, all of the junk mail that I get, all of the things that I bring home that need to be filed, so that I don't have to deal with it right away. I know that it can just sit there for a while, and I'm comfortable with maybe getting to it like every week, or in this case, every 2 or 3 weeks. It's just a box. So that's the inbox. And so the way I want you to think of your inbox in Gmail is the same way. It is a box where that gets filled with new information. But at some point, I've got to go through this box. At some point, I've got to get rid of all the stuff in this box. There's a place for everything. Half of it will end up in the garbage. Half of, 20% of it might end up being filed. Maybe another 15% will be something that I have to fill out and act on. Maybe there's a check in here that needs to be cashed. Woohoo! Right? And then 5% I might be a little confused about what to do with and try to maybe figure out a way to kind of deal with it even at a later time. So basically, that's very similar to what's going on in your inbox right now. I would say the majority of your stuff, if you've got thousands of things, the vast majority of your stuff is from last year. It's ready to get rid of it. Throw it away, right? Or archive it. We'll talk about the difference between archiving and deleting once I go through the process of having you go through each of your individual emails one at a time, processing them in your brain, and figuring out what to do with them. That's going to be in the later video. Because before we can do that, we have to create piles of themed stuff. And before we can do that, we have to figure out what our themes are going to be. We have to figure out what our piles are going to be. What are the piles going to be labeled? All right? So, we're going to take our inboxes, right? And we're going to create new boxes to store the stuff in. Okay? And those storage boxes are going to have their own label. Okay? I have a filing cabinet down here, and a lot of my bills and a lot of the stuff that I don't really need to look at or deal with, but I really kind of want to hold on to, gets stored in these files. It's the same thing here. It's just a virtual electronic version of that whole system. The same system. Using the same names. Inbox. Folders. And in this case, Google uses labels. Okay. So, the first thing we want to do is figure out what our piles of information are going to be. All right. In Gmail, the way to do that is to create labels. And your labels are going to be found actually in this left-hand side. You may not see them. I'm not sure how yours is set up. This is a new account, so this should be pretty similar to the way that yours is set up. If you look here, there's actually a little bar that you can open up, slide it down, because this little area is for your chats, which I personally haven't used that much. And then you can go to more, and you can see everything that's in that sidebar here. This sidebar has your inbox. It has starred, snooze, sent, drafts. I'm going to actually send you a different video that somebody else has made to explain how all of those work. What I'm just going to go over with you are labels. And if you look down here, you have something called manage labels and create new labels. So I'm going to actually create a label. But let me think first. I'm you. I have your classes. I have French, chemistry, English, and whatever math. You may not have those same classes. Obviously, you're in different classes. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a label, a new label for each of those classes. Okay? So the first one I'm going to create is, let's say, well, ELA, English Language Arts. Great. Okay? And notice that it shows up now above the less. So when I close this, it's already kind of listed as an easy place for me to access. If I don't want it there, I can drag it down here so that it's hidden most of the time. But I want to go ahead and leave it there because we're going to be using it, at least for now. Okay? I want to create a new label for algebra. Okay, showed up. I want to create a new label for my CTE program, Ocean Engineering. Okay, and so on. And I'm going to go ahead and create labels for each of the classes that I have. All right. I'm not going to go any further with that because I'm just doing this as a demonstration. Now, what can I do with the labels? So let's take a look at my inbox here. I have my inbox here, and if I'm you, a student, and I'm getting assignments, I'm getting notifications from the Google Classroom that I need to take a look at. Maybe they're comments, maybe they're assignments, maybe they are comments on an assignment, maybe the assignment has been graded and I've been given a grade, but they're all pertinent to just that class. And they're just sitting there in my inbox, and it's just making it look junky. And even if I've already taken a look at it, I'm not sure that I want to delete it because I don't want to lose it. So I want to just put it in a place where I know I can find it again in the future. Okay? So there's a couple ways to do that. The first way to do it is if you go to the email, you process the information. Oh, okay, there's a new assignment. I went and checked out the assignment. Great. Okay, I know that I've now kind of processed this information. I'm going to go ahead and label it as Ocean Engineering. And notice that that label shows up here. Notice that it's also in this updates label as well. And we'll talk a little bit about that later on. But for now, just notice that it's in the Ocean Engineering label. All right. Okay, now when I go back to my inbox, notice that in the inbox, it also has the label Ocean Engineering. Okay. So it has been labeled as Ocean Engineering. Another way that I can do that rather than opening it up. If I've already opened it and I've read it and I want to give it that label, I can drag it, literally, to Ocean Engineering. Now notice it took it out of my inbox. So what did it do? Well, it put it in Ocean Engineering, took it out of my inbox. Anything that's taken out of your inbox is essentially archived. It's saved, it's out of your inbox, but it is now like in an archive, and you can always find it later. The nice thing about these categories is that I put it in Ocean Engineering, so I can always just click on Ocean Engineering and find all of the Ocean Engineering things that I have. So let's go back to the inbox. So I have this. I'm going to say that this is also for Ocean Engineering. So I might go up here and put the label Ocean Engineering this way, right? Okay. But I'm going to show you another trick. So the other trick I want to show you is, let's say I have a bunch of emails that all need the same label. And rather than opening them up all individually and giving them a label or dragging them each into Ocean Engineering, I just want to do it all at once. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to click on all of these, and I'm just going to add a label. This is going to come in very handy when you start to take a look at the long lists of emails that you have throughout the day, and you really just want to do things very quickly without having to open everything up. I can go ahead and click, I don't even know, I'm going to put these on as social just to show you, or ELA just to show you that's where they are. I can then go in and very quickly take that label off. I could take the Ocean Engineering off of the ones that say Ocean Engineering, or not apply it at all. But basically that is a shortcut way of applying labels. All right. The last thing that I can do, and you notice that I kind of jumped ahead here a little bit, is I can create colors for each of the labels. I've got ELA, so let's label that A, aqua. And then the last thing that I want you to do, and I went ahead and did it here for myself, is create a label for what's called New York Harbor General Information. And in this label, you're going to be storing basically any general news that comes your way. Obviously, there's a lot of general information that's coming to you right now about just your classes in general. How are, you know, like what's the format of your classes, updates on the virus, all that stuff. So you might want to have a folder, or not a folder, they're called labels here, a label for general information from Harbor School. If you're getting emails every day about attendance, which most of you should be, you might want to store those here. Or maybe even create, if you're really ambitious, create a new label called distance, or just attendance, for distance learning. We're all distance learning. All right, and we'll make that a nice virus orange. Okay, all right, so that's the end of this. The next video, we're going to be talking about actually sorting the information a little bit further and some shortcuts on how to do that. The first, just a review, we just talked about what an inbox is, how that relates to a physical inbox. The idea that you take things out of the inbox and you sort them into places so that they're not in the inbox, just like you would if you have a filing cabinet and garbage. And basically, remember, the goal is to get our inbox down to having 0 things in it. That's really the goal. And then making sure that everything in there, we know that it's safely saved somewhere where we can always find it. And it's been processed. And if it still has to be processed, maybe there's a way to deal with that. Okay, see you in the next video.